Hi, this is Akiko from crystallandakiko.com, and I have a really neat project I want to show you today. It's a combination of several elements, but mainly it's felt die cutting, turning it into a magnet. So this is actually really cool. You're just going to take any piece of felt, okay, whatever color you like. Now here I have my top note die cut from Stampin' Up. Now I just cut a piece of felt to the size of the die cut, and you're just going to place it over top of the image that's going to be cut out. So now I put down my B plate in my Cuttlebug and the die cut and another B plate. I don't use a white one for this one because it's so thick. You don't need it. I'm just going to wheel it through. I was experimenting one day. I really wanted to use felt in my projects, but a lot of the felt embellishments out there are quite expensive, so I thought, why don't I try and make my own? So I'm going to take this apart, and you'll see the beautiful image. Look at that. It's perfect. Felt cuts very easily through die cuts. It actually works best with solid images, nothing that has too much detail, because it will fall apart. I did try some other die cuts that were a little bit more intricate, and they didn't stay together too well. So I'm going to use a different one just to show you. This is a flower from Stampin' Up as well. It's actually an embossing and die cutting folder, but I'm mainly using it for the die cut. And I put down my A plate and my B plate. And make sure you put in the folder with the right side up. On one side it says place down, so just make sure you double check. And I'm going to wheel it through. This was really exciting when I discovered this. I'm definitely going to go out and increase my stock of solid die cuts because this is so much fun. And you see the nice flower that gets cut out? You actually see the embossed image on it as well. Don't know how long it will last, but it's kind of cool. I also did one with a heart as well, but I'll show you that a little bit later. So now we're going to focus on the stitching, because stitching always adds a nice element, especially to felt embellishments. I was really trying to figure this out on my sewing machine, but it's a new machine for me and something's going on with the bobbin, so I had to do it by hand, but which is fine. It just takes a little bit longer. So you want to put some sort of border around the edge, and I just used a black stitch, and it's very basic. You just kind of weave it through one side to the other to get a nice basic stitch. And you can choose to either follow the border or you can just create your own kind of border. I also did zigzags in the corner. Zigzags are a little bit different. You weave it through on one side and then you follow the same pattern going back the other way because there will be gaps that you need to fill. I'll just kind of show you the one that I did earlier. So you can see the zigzag that I did. I did it in a silver stitch. You can see the border along the edge. So there's lots of different things you can do. Definitely experiment with it. Try different stitches because that's where you're going to find a lot of cool stuff. Like around this flower, I did more of an edge stitch, and it's so super easy. I'll show you that quickly. I'll just thread my needle quickly. But stitching is a lot of fun. You just have to have some patience, especially when you do it by hand, because it does take a bit of time. But basically all I did for the flower, so easy, you just thread it through once, and then you go around the edge and you thread it again. And it creates like an edging stitch, and I did that all the way around. So you can do, contrast colors, you can do tone on tone. It's a lot of fun. See, that's the heart that I did, And I added little embellishments like buttons, and I put an eyelet in the center of that other flower, so it creates a nice touch. Now I also put a piece of paper over top, but before I did that, I wanted to create the magnet portion because there's more than one element to this magnet. I got the cartridge for my Xyron. It's a laminate magnet. It's actually really cool, and I got it just for this project to see how it would work. So I just cut a strip of magnet, and I peeled the laminate off, and it's super sticky. Make sure you peel it off quite slow because it will rip, and then you're stuck peeling all these little pieces of laminate. And I stuck it on the back where the stamped image would be, whether it's a word or a flower or something. It's totally up to you. But I put the magnet behind that because we're going to have other magnets connect to that on top, which is really cool. So then I just got my tape runner and taped around the magnet and stuck it onto the felt. And it does actually stay on really well, but it peels off really well also because I've peeled it off and restuck it on no problem. You can't even tell it's there. It's so thin. It's not lumpy at all. It's very discreet, which I really liked about it. And then, of course, I stuck the magnet on the back so you could stick it on your fridge. And I put a nice big piece on the back to make sure that it would stick well, or magnetize well, if you want to call it that. So now the next part is the little pieces that go on top. And you can have a lot of fun with this. I wanted to create something kind of different, so I decided to write little inspirational quotes on these little pieces of paper that could magnetize on top. So you can change your quote daily if you, if you wanted something inspiring to see in the morning when you woke up, then you'd have a nice little quote there that would inspire you for the day. And I used my curly label punch. I love that punch. It coordinates really well with the top note die cut. I just wrote with my Stampin' Up! Marker. Again, you can do contrast colors, or if you wanted to do tone on tone, you might want to go a bit darker so that you can see it well. And I just sponged the edges with the coordinating ink just to give it a little bit more texture. I just hand wrote these. I took a little bit slower than I normally would to make it look pretty, but it's really easy. Now I'm sticking them all in my Xyron because you don't want to waste your cartridge, so I waited until they were all done. And so we're going to do this together. So I stuck all three in side by side, and then you want to push them in until you feel it connect with the cartridge. And then all you do is just turn the wheel, and it's so easy. You can start to see it coming through on the other side. I did one earlier, so I had a bit of extra magnet for my for the back of the felt and in between the layers, but I definitely recommend doing this part first because look at all the extra that you have. That's just going to happen no matter what. So definitely do this part first. Then you can use the extra magnet that you have to put on the back and to put in between the layers. I'll show you one that I did earlier. See, it sticks on nicely. It's really cool. It kind of changes the magnet altogether. That's Follow Your Bliss. And I just cut out around the borders of the little quotes to match the same design. But you can do different shapes as well. You can totally make this your own and be really creative with it. So that's my inspirational felt magnet. I hope you like it. Please try it out and let me know your thoughts. Just leave a comment on my blog at crystallandakiko.com. Thanks for watching.